Okay, at long last, here is part 2 of my Seeker extravaganza, or Seeker special, and we're going to get into the Air Warrior, or Decepticon clone. I'm not really sure what they're called. These are the guys who always showed up in the background of the cartoon, and I've always wished they made one, but actually they never did. These are knockoffs of the mold, but original characters, I suppose, because Hasbro and Takara never made these. So these are... weird, I got a phone call. I hate phone calls. Anyways, where was I? Yeah, I like this guy. I wish they'd made a proper one. Now I've substituted these null rays here for these bits. Got these on Shapeways. You can search for null ray or transformer gun, I suppose. They came molded in purple, but I painted them with the Tamiya purple because it wasn't quite the right shade. They're a bit too light. And the 3D printing is still a bit grainy, unfortunately. There's the you can kind of see the texture under the paint there. So yeah, you can see the texture. There's just a thin coat of paint on here, so you can see the graininess. Let's try this again. So they're quite good. Paint's not perfect. The stripes are okay. The Decepticon sigils are pretty good. Again, on the angle though. The black paint could be thicker. I was gonna say, I can't tell. Is this molded in black? Yeah. So the forearms have a bit of a purple stripe around them, I suppose. Yeah, that paint's not bad. Looks a little bit not very sharp and crisp around the wrists, but not bad. The silver is applied quite well, and the face paint is good. So I'd say decent job on the paint. Yeah, I have two of these. These came, I think I got these from the same seller as the Rainmakers. I was trying to get these guys before from I think it was kotoys.com. They changed their name a few times, and I don't think they're really in business anymore. The site looks a bit dodgy, so I'm not going to order from there. I did once in the past to get that Skywarp, but now I don't really think it looks safe. This Decepticon logo, you can see it has a problem. Let's see this one. I think this one's alright. Yeah, that looks okay. Not perfect, pretty close. Yeah, nose cone looks a bit loose here too, doesn't it? The only major flaw I found really was this glob of silver paint here. I could probably scratch that off if I wanted to. But and I should paint these null rays a little bit better, but they look alright. So, overall, I'm really happy to have these guys. I don't know why we never got an official figure. I think we should have, considering how often they appeared in the cartoon. And here is the Air Warrior's or clone's weapon that he comes with. Nice bit of chrome on here, I guess, but that's the only chrome on the figure, so it doesn't really match anything, but the silver paint does. So that's what it would look like with his standard weapon, which does at least fit properly. And after replacing all the weapons, I'm left with all of these. Here's the rest of them. This is from the knockoff Starscream. And I have, oh wait, what happened there? And I have this big bag of extra Seeker weapons now. I should show you, so Ramjet comes with these, which are like the G1 weapons he had. They're more like bombs, or just a different type of missile, I suppose. And Dirge had the standard ones. I believe these belong to, actually that might be Thundercracker. Yeah, this is, I think this is Dirge here. Right, he has a black. Dirge has the black missile, I think, with the blue. I think that is his. And where is Thrust? There's Thrust's weapon there. Thrust's weapon. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I have all those. Not sure if I mentioned it, but that Guilty Hunger set of weapons also comes with missiles molded in color for each of the 6. Or 4. Each of the 4. If you're into that sort of thing. The missiles look pretty good in jet mode. They can just hang off the back of the wings if you like, if you need somewhere to store them. Okay, and here's what I guess you'd call the second generation of Seekers. This is, well, a lot of people call them the cone heads. There's a Japanese 3-pack called the Seeker Elite that followed the Seeker Aces pack that I showed in part 1. But unfortunately I don't have that set. These 3 are all from the North American Hasbro releases. So Ramjet here is from the Classics. He was actually the first one that I didn't buy. Well, that doesn't make sense. Ramjet and I have an interesting history because I saw him when he was released at retail in Classics, and I passed him over, even though he looked really cool, but I didn't buy him, and I wasn't really collecting Transformers at that time. So he ended up being the last one that I bought, and I got him on eBay with the packaging, so that was a nice sort of recovery for me. He's really quite nice looking, not as cartoon accurate as the Takara releases. There was a Takara and there was the 3-pack one. Both of them had red metallic wings, I believe. He only has this sort of red, or burgundy rather, on the top, and this gold and this striping. It looks pretty good, but I would have preferred if he had all red wings like he's supposed to. But still a solid release. I'm glad to have him in the collection. There's a masterpiece of him on the way out, and a third-party release. I think the third-party one looks better, though, because the masterpiece has a really strange-looking face sculpt. Too big of cheeks on him, I think. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get into those. I've already got enough giant Seekers on my shelf. So the next one that came out was Thrust, and he was in the Generations line, I believe. Pretty good Thrust. I like this guy. Thrust. He has a nice metallic plastic burgundy. These fans here are detachable. You can actually take these off if you want to, and you can put them on the other side of the wing if you like. I guess this would be the bottom, or you could put them on the tail wings if you want to do that for whatever reason. Nice Decepticon logo tambographed on there. Pretty good detail on him. He's reasonably cartoon accurate, good enough for me. I actually prefer this one to the Takara release because that one had a lot of gray on him, too much gray in my opinion. I should also mention that these all have the weapon upgrades or weapon replacements from that Guilty set that I mentioned. And the last one here I got was Dirge, of course, and he came from, I think he was also in the Generations line. I wasn't a big fan of Dirge ever, but once I got this figure, I really enjoyed it. It's got a lovely blue, and I like the MIG design. The deco is pretty nice. Ooh, quite a bit of a gap there, unfortunately. Yeah, good plastic. Of course, you'll notice these are shorter nose cones than the first 3 because they're actually the heads, so it would make sense not to have them too high. This guy's not. These 3 aren't really painted consistently, which again bothers me. This is nice that he has a Decepticon logo here, but he's the only one of the 3 that does have that. Also, this, you can see this is painted black across here, which I don't think it should be. I think this should be blue. He's got this paint all across. Ramjet has silver in the middle, and they haven't painted the sides of these, so not very consistent. It would have been nice if they'd matched up. The Seeker Elites 3-pack, they do match up better than this, but I can't really justify buying another set of these since I already have them. If you don't have these guys, I probably would recommend getting that 3-pack, although it has gone up a bit in price. I think originally it went for 120. You can maybe get it for the same price, but I was hoping it would come down because it was a bit more than the Aces 3-pack, which was I think 100. But anyway, these guys are quite nice. It's nice to have all 6 of them in the collection now. Dirge is funny. I think of my Nan whenever I hear about dirge now, because you never hear people use that word in plain language, but she lived in a retirement home for a while, and they would have people come and entertain them from time to time. So once they had this band come and play, and I was talking to her on the phone, I said, well, that must have been nice. Well, how was the band? And she said, it was a dirge. And so you have to understand, my Nan, imagine a British version of Betty White, and that was pretty much my Nan. So of course, when she's quite chipper, and then she's describing this band as a dirge. I thought that was hilarious. I miss my Nan. Anyway, so yeah, these guys are good to have. One strange thing is I put a bit of paint here because this white came all the way down, and they didn't paint it onto the nose cone. This one is it looks, see, there's a bit of a triangle groove in here. It looks like that should be the same color. Maybe that's why this one was painted that way. Let's see what Dirge has. Yeah, he's got I guess the canopy piece is painted separately. But you know what, I kind of regret painting that now because I did a shitty job of it. So anyway, let's put him back on the stand. Let's go on to the next one. And last but certainly least is Nacelle. Now Nacelle, well, he was very much a background character, if you can even call him that much. This is the only figure I have from the figure subscription service, other than Serpentoir, and that is because I'm a sucker for Seekers, and he's pretty interesting. So now, where Nacelle comes from is a Japanese catalog picture. I'll put a picture up. Pew! There it is. So that's where the image where he came from. That was showing what was going to be the second year Decepticon jets with the different, they're mocked up in different paint and parts. They kind of just swapped some pieces around and repainted them. I think his was a, what was it now? Well, it would have been thrust wings, and I think they stuck them on, you know, Thundercracker's body or something to that effect. You know, this one was done by Fun Pub, so, you know, pretty decent. The yellow paint there, not perfect, but pretty good. I think everything else is fine. Well, the white could use a touch-up too. Now, there was a couple of problems with this guy. Now, keep in mind, this is from Fun Pub, who are, you know, they kind of partnered with Hasbro. They work alongside them. This is not a knockoff. However, we had a few problems with this guy. One of them was the wings. Now, have a look here. See this red piece where the wing attaches? Well, that's upside down. If you look on any other Seeker body, see how it's got a bit of a bevel here? That's for transformation, right? Because the wing has to do this and this. So the underside of it is, well, let me take a look. Let's pop this out. So there's the bottom. See, it's flat there because there's no turning. Well, it's a bit beveled there, but not as much as the top. Alright. Now if we look at Nacelle, this is upside down. The bevels are on the bottom here. So this was misassembled in the factory and slipped past their QA process, if they have such a thing. And there was actually another problem. I don't know how this one got passed, but the whoops. These, I fixed them, but these tail fins were misassembled. They were put upside down. So in jet mode, this is how they're supposed to look, but they were assembled this way. Now I think, well, somebody said online that that's the way the paint or tempograph is supposed to go, so they purposely misassembled them. I don't buy that though. I think it was just an accident. I mean, having upside down paint is not as bad in my opinion as having upside down wings, because you can see that they're asymmetrical. I mean, this is the top, otherwise it'd be hanging down with a long fin, right? And I think there's another, what else gave me that idea? I don't know. Anyway, I've since taken these legs apart and reversed them, because I don't mind the paint being backward or upside down. I would rather have it assembled correctly. This is a nice tampograph here on the intakes. Nice Decepticon sigil. The white background is a little bit off center, but pretty close. So I'll just finish transforming this guy and tell you one other thing about him. Well, two other things rather. These wings may at first glance look like thrusts, but they're not. Thrusts has separate pieces here. I'm not sure where these came from. I think I forgot. This is different than thrust. I'll show you thrust soon. And these are stickers put on top of these little doodads there. Nice white plastic. I like the colors on this guy. Now, there is also a canonical history, I guess, for this character. Oh dear. I broke that right on camera. I thought that popped out, but it is broken. Well, it's a good thing I have plenty of super glue. So that's what he looks like in jet mode. Quite elegant. I do like the colors. If he does look a bit, I don't know, American. Right, so ostensibly he was in the cartoon. He was part of the welcoming committee in More Than Meets the Eye Part 1, which was, was that the first episode? I think it was. So, here's a screen capture of what he was supposed to look like. Yeah, so I mean, definitely a background character. You can't really see what's going on there, can you? But that's supposed to be Nacelle. I think that's a retcon thing. But FunPub says that is Nacelle. Well, they implied that was him. On his character bio card, it says that he likes to. He's a kind of like an engineer, I guess, and he modifies the Seeker body and modified his own body. So, of course, if that were him in the show, he would have transformed into a Tetrajet. But the explanation is that this is the form he took when he came to Earth, because I guess he came to Earth. But whatever. The point is, we got Nacelle, so any excuse is fine with me. Now, if you want to learn more about that welcoming committee, as they call it, that group of interesting Decepticon jets there, which you'll see includes Sunstorm also, I recommend you read what I read when I was, what was I searching for? I don't know what I was looking for. This is a few months ago. I found this fellow's blog, Derek Smith, in Minnesota, I think. So anyway, it's called Derek Smith at livejournal.com, I think is the address, and I'll put a link down there, because I got quite a bit of information from his site, and I should give him a bit of credit, as he talks about Nacelle, and it's quite a humorous write-up about that episode. Sadly, I still have not been able to repair Nacelle's wing. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I don't think I can get a replacement, because I bought it from ages 3 and up instead of FunPub, so I don't know. Maybe I can put a screw through here. As I fix it, I'll put up a transfixed video about that. But for now, that's what he looks like in jet mode. If you can just imagine the second wing. So you can see here the difference from thrust. This does not detach and has a different port. Does not have any ports in his tail fins. Smaller wing overall. So yeah, different wings all around. I think these might have been used before. I want to say that they were on the club exclusive thrust that was done before the mass retail release. So that's about all I got to say about Nacelle. So I suppose this wraps up the big Seeker extravaganza. thank you very much for watching this video. If you watched to the end, great. I hope it was a bit easier to watch than part 1. I'm sorry that was so long. And please come back for more.